How to choose birth control. If you don't want to get pregnant or don't want your partner to get pregnant, you need to use birth control, also called contraception or family planning. There are lots of different types of birth control methods. They include taking hormones, like the pill, using barriers to catch the sperm, like the condom, or using natural methods. Another way to avoid getting pregnant is abstinence, simply not having intercourse. And then there's also sex without vaginal penetration, making love without actual having vaginal intercourse. Sex is also more than intercourse, and your needs will depend on what kind of sex you have with whom. Do I need birth control? Having intercourse without using birth control when you don't want a baby is a huge gamble. It can turn your life upside down. When should you start thinking about birth control? If you start having sex first and thinking about birth control later, you could get pregnant by accident. Also, keep in mind that contraception isn't just about preventing unintended pregnancies. Barrier methods like condoms also reduce the risk of getting infected with an STI. It is important to know whether you want to have a baby. If you don't want to get pregnant or get someone pregnant, you've got two options. Don't have sexual intercourse, or if you do, use birth control. Can you get pregnant if it's your first time having intercourse? If you have intercourse before the woman has started her periods, you've had intercourse during the woman's period, you forgot to use birth control even if it's just once, the guy pulls out withdrawal before he ejaculates. Every couple has different birth control needs, so the best birth control method for each couple may be different. Before you choose a birth control method, here are some of the things to think about. How important is it that you don't get pregnant? Will it be a total disaster if you were pregnant? Or will it be okay but just not quite the right moment? How well does the birth control method work? What's the failure rate? Could the birth control method have side effects for you or your partner? How soon would you like to have children? Every couple has different birth control methods. It's fine if you use a different birth control method from your friends. There are a lot of factors that affect your choice of birth control method. How old are you? Can you get the method in your country? How acceptable is the method in your culture? How do you and your partner feel about it? There is no best birth control method that works for everyone, but there may be a good method for you. Another thing to consider is whether you want children at all, and if you do, when you want them. The birth control method you choose depends on your answers. Male birth control options: use a condom, abstinence, have a vasectomy. This means you are sterilized and can't have children anymore. Pull out before you ejaculate in your partner's vagina, but this isn't a reliable method of birth control. Female birth control options: use a female condom, take the pill, use other kinds of hormonal methods like the patch or implant, have an intrauterine device, IUD, fitted, use the rhythm method, which is one of the natural family planning methods and involves avoiding having intercourse around the time you are almost fertile. Lastly, getting your tubes tied, being sterilized. This means you can't have children anymore. Hiding your birth control method? It's easy to say that you have the right to decide when you want to have children, but harder to put into practice. Often the reality is much more complicated. You may be in a situation where you want to put off having children and your partner may not. Openly talking about your birth control and making decisions together with your partner may not be possible. When you choose a birth control method, it might be important to you that you can use it without your partner noticing, and that it's easy to stop using it if you change your mind. Other things to consider before choosing a birth control method. Does the method have any side effects? If so, what does it cost? How soon do you want children in your future? How easy is it to get hold of? How well will it fit in with your lifestyle? Are you a methodical person or a bit chaotic? For example, would you remember to take a pill regularly? Lastly, how well does the birth control method work? What's the failure rate? See birth control methods to find out more about the different methods, their pros and cons, and how well they work.
Love Matters. Open, honest, sex-friendly.